Do you find yourself creating the same floor plans for every single castle? I do. So I challenged myself to come up with 3 different floor plans that I could start swapping in to make my builds more interesting. I like more symmetrical rooms, and the library is a great place for symmetry. This is a good layout for a smaller castle, as everything is on one floor and all of the research desks, altars, and storage needed for gameplay fits comfortably. Let's take a closer look. I like to mix functional pieces with decor items, so I have lots of little seating areas and tables to work at. I started off with a nice dark wood flooring. I don't normally use this style, but it made this library feel older. Keeping with that old feel, I chose these gold wall sconces. I like how they reach down to the floor. To add some extra light, I also went with a simple floor candelabra and floating crystal chandeliers because even vampires can be bougie. Moving on, we reach some of the more functional pieces in the room. The Altar of Stygian Awakening is, in my opinion, one of the less attractive pieces in the library, so I chose to stuff it in the corner and reduce the lighting in hopes that it would blend in with the walls. I also did this with the Altar of Recollection on the other side, which is absolutely disgusting for a library. I mean, look at the blood pouring out of it. Out of my sight. Next on our tour is the large research desk and a wall of storage. Now I included a ton of storage, which is something I like to do because I have a lot of things to store. I am not a hoarder, I'm a collector of things, like a magpie. Besides, it's always good to be prepared. Also, I had spaces to fill, and bookshelves fit nicely. On to the best part of the library, the seating area. I chose these lush purple cushions and arranged them beside the window, in case you wanted to lounge around, but the focal point of the space are these red couches that I anchored with this regal purple rug. Collections of crystal add a little glam to the space, reflecting the floating crystal chandeliers. It's not all blood and gore as a vampire. The coffee tables were all quite large, so to avoid bashing legs on the corners of the table, I opted for this chess table in the center of the room. It's also good if you don't like to read books. Now you can just play chess. Imagine settling in with your favorite tome and grabbing a glass of your preferred blood type. I flanked the seating area with some study nooks. As we move to the other side of the library, you'll notice the symmetry of the room, the other large desk, and some more wall shelves. Paper is expensive, okay? We need to build a stash. Now we'll look at the second plan. This is my go-to for all of my castles. It features a double staircase and a second floor, in which I've spread out all the functional pieces of furniture. If we zoom in, we can have a look at the details. I really like this herringbone wood floor and often choose it in my builds. And I chose these elegant wall sconces in gold with elaborate detailing. I like how they add a touch of regal to the white wall paneling. Some simple floor candelabras illuminate the study halls. I also like the look of these photo tables in between the reading desks, while some more elaborate candelabras provide light near the research desks. A few floating candles help light up the corners of the stairwells. And of course, crystal chandelier, because remember, vampires can enjoy the finer things in life too. The last form of light I used were these single candles included with these pretty centerpieces. Tucked into the corners of the staircase, I managed to fit a couple functional pieces. Unlike the last library, there is a lack of dark corners to hide things in, despite this being a vampire castle, so all the functional pieces have to be out in the open. The paper press and the Altar of Stygian Awakening both blend into the wall paneling of the staircase fairly well. Across from the door is my favorite desk. Good thing I'll have thousands of years to read all of these books. At the bottom of the stairs, I placed a decorative table with a pretty floral and candle centerpiece. Moving on to the center of the library. Here we have another desk, because what else is a vampire to do for thousands of years? This section also houses the bulk of the storage for the library. Now, the shelves are arranged in my favorite formation, which creates these little reading nooks that I get to decorate and cozy up. You can stuff all kinds of decorative goodies into these nooks, like stools, cushion piles, plants. If I'm going to be spending hundreds of years of my life reading, I might as well enjoy the space. This was a bit of poor planning on my part. I underestimated the amount of space needed for a sitting area. But I'm sticking with the excuse, it's cozy. Now let's head upstairs and check out the study hall. As we go up the stairs, we have to stop and admire my favorite painting that I use all the time. It may even be in a couple places in this library. I wish they had more large paintings like this. At the top of the stairs, we are greeted with yet another research desk, which is flanked with some small reading nooks on each side. I continued with the blue color scheme upstairs, with this cozy spot perfect for plotting Dracula's downfall. Moving down the walkway, we have a study section. This is probably one of the spots I would frequent the most if I had to live in this castle. These walkways hold more storage for our book collection, spanning thousands of years, and some desks for your mortal minions to toil over for hours. If we keep going to the very end of the walkway, you'll find the Weeping Altar of Blood, as I like to call it. The good thing about placing this here is that you cannot see it from the top of the stairs, and there's this oversized painting to distract you from the altar. Our last library has more of a minimalistic, masculine vibe. It is also spread over 2 floors, and I still managed to fit all of the functional pieces in with the decor, although they mostly sit on the upper floor. Let's investigate the floor plan further. Starting with the flooring. It's a bit lighter than I would have liked for this type of library, but I wanted to feature all this vampiric world has to offer. I wanted to have this more of a masculine smoking room feel, so I went with simple lighting. These plain wall sconces blend nicely with the wood paneling, and of course, any prestigious vampire looking to expand his empire needs a little glamour, so I chose this hefty gold brazier. Floating candles felt right for this library, more minimal and low effort. And a touch of elegance with these candelabras and flowers. I also chose these deep green fabric panels for the walls to help bring out that smoking room feel. I've kept the main floor very simple because I really wanted the floor-to-ceiling bookshelf feel, so I chose to include just a couple functional pieces. Like this desk and altar, and actually this altar is growing on me, I think my inner vampire is awakening. Moving on to the focal point of the main floor, we have these stone statues flanked by shelves and seating areas, almost reminiscent of a museum. This place is thousands of years old, remember? And then we have beautiful floor-to-ceiling wood shelves. The only thing missing is the rolling ladder. With these elegant sofas, you can peruse your new favorite library editions in style. And when you get bored of your 1,000-year-old book collection, you can always enjoy the view from the wall of windows behind your statues. Moving up the stairs, I've lined the walls with even more shelves. I did really want to place the full-size shelves here, but that's not allowed, unfortunately. At the top of the stairs, we are greeted with another research desk, surrounded by, you guessed it, more dusty shelves. These ones actually really do look dusty though. Let's head a little further into the second floor. Here I have the paper press, bordered by more shelves. I am not a hoarder, I am a collector. And of course, we need a place to hold our meetings on how we will expand our empires. Across from our round table, we have our last research desk. Now, when you have less clutter in your space, it can make it a little more challenging to hide the larger pieces that you don't actually want to see. Like this monstrosity, again. I have also, once again, used my favorite large painting to conceal this babbling blood brook and a crap ton of bookshelves. That leads us to the last section of this library. Our cozy sitting room. I've decorated this space with plush cushions and lush sofas, and the decor of the table is a nod to that gentleman's smoking room theme. I even managed to sneak in a dedicated study space. Each of these libraries can be a cozy addition to your next castle and create a safe haven from vampire hunters and daylight alike. Which one will you choose? Oh, my shadow scared me. What am I, Peter Pan? If this helped you relax, you're always welcome back. This is a video YouTube thinks you might like, and if you enjoyed hanging out with me, here's a playlist that I think you'll like too.